Hello guys, and welcome back once again to Jonesy's vlog. So we'll look back to yesterday's very disappointing 2-1 defeat away at Blackburn at Ewood Park. Once again, a big away following, a lot larger than usual, and once again another disappointing, defeat really. I'm not going to say disappointing performance. But I will get to that in a minute. But I did say before the game, it always seems to be the case whenever we do take these large away followings, the sort of 6,000-7,000. It's very rare that we are sort of rewarded with 3 points and a decent day really. So in a way I wasn't completely surprised, and I was kind of expecting it, but especially after the first half and how things had started, I left Ewood Park feeling really quite dejected yesterday, and to lose in the circumstances we did as well. It wasn't the greatest feeling in the world. So the squad was unchanged from before. Well, at the starting 11 was unchanged from the international break before. Giuseppe Bellusci was back on the bench after his suspension. So Redfern keeping faith with Pearce and Cooper at centre back. And first half, we were playing some good stuff, some decent stuff, and we were sort of I don't want to say where we left off before the international break, because that second half against Blackpool was disappointing. But we were playing some of the stuff that we'd definitely seen in that first half anyway. Some decent, quick and crisp passing football. Adrian was causing all kinds of problems. Antonucci and De Cara up front looked sort of hungry for goals. Cook and Mauer in midfield were looking good. Bianchi looked back on form as well. And we looked quite solid in defence. From memory, Blackburn did hit the bar with a shot, but apart from that, there wasn't too much sort of danger from them really. Although you could tell they were a decent side by some of their moves and some of their passing. But like I say, for me, I think we were really on top in that. Again, not too much in terms of sort of chances, which again I'm kind of sick of repeating myself saying that every vlog really. But we weren't creating too much. But then Adrian's shot that was saved by the keeper that led to the corner to the goal was absolutely stunning. From where I was in the stand, I was kind of practically right behind it, and as soon as he let fly and saw it curling, I thought it was dead set in the top right hand corner. But Steele pulled out a fantastic save, an absolutely magnificent save. How we managed to get to that, I have no idea. But we didn't have to wait for long. From the resulting corner. Really, we were kind of lucky in the sense it was a poor corner, not really dealt with by the Blackburn defence, quite poor from them. And De Cara with a sort of a sliding shot into the opposite corner, which was a really decent finish actually. I must admit, at the time I thought it had got a deflection or something, but it actually just turned out to be a really well-timed shot really. And I think we fully deserved that lead, to be quite honest, with how the first half had gone. Like I say, we didn't look in any kind of danger of letting that slip either. But once again, it's the case of having a decent first half and then coming out second half and seem to kind of just sitting back really, which is just so disappointing to see. Why we can't sort of keep that momentum going and just kind of go and kill teams off and finish the game. I'm not really too sure why that's happening. Obviously Blackburn were going to come out all guns blazing that second half. They needed to get back into the game, so you have to take that into account. But we kind of made it easy for them. And you see with their first goal, it was just the ultimate cock up. It was kind of Cardiff all over again really, to that kind of effect really. Either Cooper should have just put his foot through it and let it out, for the throw-in, or leaving it to that state. Sylvester just needs to come and put his foot right through it and show absolutely no fear. But instead he just kind of comes out and I don't know, he just doesn't even seem to try, and it just made it so easy for Rhodes to get his foot to it, and he's got an open goal, and the Leeds team will have known how dangerous Rhodes is. They will have been, I'm sure, well read up on how decent he is and how threatening he is. So to just give him a chance like that was just diabolical, really. And like I say, before that we needed to have killed them off. I mean, the guy that was stood next to me, we'd literally said it about a minute before they got that goal. We needed that second goal because it didn't look like we were going to be able to hang on. Having said that, after their goal, we did sort of come back into the game again, which again is disappointing that it took that equalising goal to get us up to that state again. But we did kind of come back into it. We could have gone back in front through Antonucci's chance that hit the post. That was really unlucky. It was a fantastic through ball, and just an inch more to the right, and that would have probably gone in off the post from Antonucci. And although there wasn't too many other chances, again we started to look a little bit more comfortable. There were some passes that were going astray. And you could see that some of the players were starting to tire out, especially the younger ones. Like Cook started to disappear from the game. Adrian was disappearing once again. He's still clearly not ready for sort of 90 minutes of Championship action yet. And I believe both him and Cook should have been taken off, and maybe bring on Austin Sharp or something, just to kind of bolster the midfield up a little bit, because like I say, we were starting to lose out a lot more then. And obviously Blackburn had their man sent off. I can't remember the yellow card he got, the first yellow card he got, but it was definitely a yellow card for the challenge he did on Cooper anyway. So in terms of that, I suppose he deserved it. But like I say, I can't remember what his first yellow card was for. But then, of course, as soon as Varney came on, I think probably every single one of those 6,900 Leeds fans was thinking he's going to have some involvement in Blackburn winning the game. And sure enough, he had a pretty big part in it. Did old Luke in performing a fantastic dive for the penalty. It should be showing on screen right now. From where I was stood, again, even though it was at the other side of the pitch, I was basically stood right behind it, and straight away all the people around us were like, well, that's a clear dive. We could see it clearly from there, so how he's managed to get away with that, I have absolutely no idea at all. But the referees had an absolute stinker there. But then again, I suppose I don't want to blame the referee too much. In this case it is, it's the players that are doing the diving, and it was a disgrace from Varney, and but I'm sure he won't be caring at the end of the day, and neither will the Blackburn fans. And of course, again, Rhodes stepped up and put away the penalty, which everyone kind of knew that was going to happen, and there was never going to be a way back in after that. The players' heads just went straight down. We looked really dejected. And we did sort of push forward a little bit towards the end, but we got a corner. I think we got 2 corners actually, but they were just wasted, really poor corners, and we ended up losing the game. And like I say, to lose in that fashion is the worst way, because for me, although the second half was a poorer performance, we at least deserved a point from that game. Blackburn certainly didn't deserve to win it. And that's not me being bitter. It's just looking on the game as a whole. I believe we did enough to get at least a draw out of it. And I was quite surprised at their manager kind of coming out and saying he believed that Blackburn deserved to win on the grand scheme of things. Which I don't know, a bit of rose-tinted spectacles there, from what I think anyway. But yeah, another thing that was really disappointing second half, like I say just then with the substitutions, quite disappointing in Redfern. Like I say, it was clear to see that sort of Cook and Adrian were starting to struggle a bit. So why he didn't change it earlier, I don't know. He brought Bianchi off and brought Belushi on to play sort of a holding midfielder role, which is fine. That's great, but I don't believe Bianchi was the player that should have been brought off at that stage. And yeah, like I say, I think he could have maybe done more to try and change and influence that game a bit more. So that's the first time I'm saying I've sort of been disappointed with Redfern. But like I say, overall I do believe we deserve something out of that game, and Redfern said the same after the match, and I totally agree with him there. Looking at sort of individual performances, I thought Alex Mowat again had a fantastic game, and didn't dominate midfield, but he had a sort of strong influence on that. Up until he was getting tired, I thought Adrian was having a good game, doing some really decent passes, and like I say, causing a little bit of panic for the Blackburn defence. People were getting on De Cara's back a lot. I think second half he did start to disappear a bit, and some of his passes were sort of going astray. I mean, a lot of people have been coming out and saying he's De Cara's shy, he's an awful player, he shouldn't be in the team. I really don't agree with that personally. I do think that he does go missing sometimes, and I just think he's one of those players. But when I look at the things he does bring to the team, I think he's deserved of his place in the side. I think he does hold the ball up really well. I think he's also got some decent vision on him and can do some decent passes and assists. I think he gets in the right positions. I mean, he's shown that for his goal yesterday and previously in the season, and he's a good finisher as well. Again, that was his 7th goal of the season. So I'm not on the sort of hating De Cara bandwagon. I really don't think he's a shit player. I think he does bring quite a bit to the team. Obviously, a lot of people on Silvestri's back now after kind of making the same mistake again. It's a tough one really, because I mean he clearly is a good keeper. He makes some decent saves. It's just some of his decision making sometimes. With sort of coming out, he doesn't seem to command his box too well. I think that's something he needs to learn a little bit more, and kind of get used to the more physical side of English football and the Championship. Again, I don't think there's any need to drop him or anything like that. And again, I saw someone calling him shit yesterday. I mean, I can't understand that really. I can't get my head around that. He's kept in a hell of a lot of games this season. But yeah, I think he just needs to Neil Sullivan to work with him in training a little bit more and get him just to be a lot more commanding of his box and be a bit more confident really. So yeah, I think that's really all I've got to say about the game. Just again, to sum up, very disappointed. I do feel we're unlucky. But again, more positive to take out of the game and move into the next couple of games, which they're going to be tough. I mean, Derby next week at home is going to be a really, really difficult match. I'm struggling to see us really getting anything out of that. I mean, they are a bogey side of ours anyway, but the way they're going this season, I think we're in for a tough afternoon there. And I believe we're away to Forest after that, which is always a good game. It's always an entertaining game with them, and they've been very inconsistent this season. I mean, I know they had a decent win away to Wolves yesterday, but before that, I think that they hadn't won in sort of 7 games, was it, something like that? So that is a game that we can go and get something from. But again, it is going to be a very difficult match. So a lot of things to work on in training this week, I believe, and I'm sure Redfern will definitely do that. But disappointing I'm not going to be at the Derby match. Unfortunately, work has got in the way for that one. But onwards and upwards. Yes, it's not looking great in the table at the moment, but I don't believe we're in any serious danger of being relegated. But certainly a lot to improve on and a lot to work on. So that's all from me today, guys. Obviously, I want your thoughts on the game, both Blackburn and Leeds fans, obviously. Obviously, give them down in the comments below or at my Twitter at Chris Jones LUSC. Those of you that were at the match, what do you think? Who we are, man of the matches. Man of the matches. I think there was only one match going on yesterday. But I'm jabbering now. So just leave your thoughts as always. But thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you all very soon.